Hey folks, let me know you can hear me. I think it's all working. Got my More Banjo shirt on. A fan actually made this up after I talked about it so much. Yeah, I like it. So I'm going to wait to see someone comment that you can actually see me and hear me. I don't do this often enough to have a well enough grip on it. I'm having a look here at the chat screen. Shout out, say hey. If you got requests, hit me up. But I will be talking a bit about my new album right here. We can see and hear you. Excellent. Thanks, Dave. Hey, Ed. Yes, we did have a very nice Christmas. Just kind of hung out at the house, waited for the snow that kind of came. Liam is definitely hoping for a much bigger dose very soon, so we can. There's a hill just over there that, like literally a block and a half away. We bring the sled over, and a whole bunch of neighborhood kids just go straight down it. It's a lot of fun. So. Okay, so people are coming in. I'm going to get a banjo. Which one to pick? I won't just do the tunes from this album because, honestly, I can't play them all yet. At least not in an entertaining enough fashion. YouTube feed good here. Hey, excellent. All the way over there in Missouri. Good to hear. Before I talk about my Decembering album, I would like to say that, actually regretfully say that we lost a banjo icon a couple days ago, Mr. J.D. Crowe, who is a huge influence on so many banjo players, including me. I can't tell you how many hours I clocked with headphones on and an LP going back and back and back and learning every lick I could, trying to decipher that amazing tone and timing, and his taste was impeccable. He was very, I'm going to get a little banjo geeky here for folks that aren't super duper into banjo, although why would you be here if you weren't? He was very much like Earl Scruggs, but there was something different. There was like this extra oomph. Earl was obviously amazing and super solid as a rock. J.D. Crowe had this extra thing that was a different kind of drive. And banjo players, when they talk about right hands and strong right hands and tasteful right hands, it's J.D. Crowe. And he was also just a super sweet, honest, genuine guy. If you ever met him, I only met him I think once, but I saw him on stage so many times and heard him on. There was this series of albums called the Bluegrass Album Band that was J.D. Crowe and Tony Rice and a bunch of other bluegrass icons. That if you haven't checked it out, if you love bluegrass, go check it out. Listen to it. You'll hear why J.D. was such an icon. So I'll do a little tune here. I wonder if I could remember the tune that I listened to so many times, and I know so many other banjo players, was the Blue Ridge Cabin Home. It was one of these that started out. That's as close as I could get to it right now, but that's along the lines of what you'd hear, just much better. So, Soggy Alameda. Hey, Carolyn. Yes, Alameda. Is it soggy? I believe you. Oh, I have to do something. My phone needs to be in a different mode here. I wonder if I could do this without ruining things. I just realized my phone is my webcam, and it needs to be in airplane mode. Hopefully I didn't mess up the feed. Let me know. Did I screw up the feed? Give me some comments over here, okay? Still going good? Oh my God, I got a Twitch watcher. It's my one Twitch fan. So let's start with, I'll do something more. Maybe I'll sing a little something too. So, still there? Still all good? So I'll warm up and then I'll start talking about Decembering. How's that? Now you're waiting to hear things they wanted you to know. Pull your head up from the dirt, there's no solace in the ground. And hold your tongue while the devil's hanging round. Ain't no place to lie down. Ain't no place to lie down. Ain't no place to lie down until the devil's in the ground. Still and spin, hold your eyes to the sky, find your way back home again. The road goes holding on, can't escape where you're bound. You might buy a little time while the devil's hanging round. Ain't no place to lie down. Ain't no place to lie down. Ain't no place to lie down until the devil's in the ground. Do you know just what you found? You can't cheat the dealer while the devil's hanging around. Ain't no place to lie down. Ain't no place to lie down. Ain't no place to lie down until the devil's in the ground. All right, that was a medley. The first tune was something I wrote that is on my very first album, which is called Swamped. It's my only album that I ever put out that's on LP. Back around, I guess, 91. That album was called Swamped. And then I followed that with one of my more recent songs called Can't Lie Down. Let me see what people are saying here. What's up, Atlanta? Hey, Jim? You have 9 inches of snow. Where are you, Colleen? Eric, I will try to tear it up. Thank you. Yes. Watching from snowy Washington State. Oh, so Colleen, you're in Washington State. I'm supposed to be up there playing in a couple of weeks. Hopefully it's clears a little bit for me. Hey, Cindy, how you doing? That's a beautiful banjo. Well, thank you. I like it. It's a Pruka banjo. Zuba Brothers. I like that title there. You asked the question, you live in the Portland area, and do I know the best place to take to take a banjo to get work done on it? Well, I take mine to Fretworks, which is right up the street for us. Really great guys there, Portland Fretworks. 12th fret too. 12th fret is, they're wonderful guys as well. Monica, hey, yay for you, Tony. So excellent to see you play with such fantastic music. Well, thank you, Monica. Good to see you. Tacoma, that's where you are, Colleen. Okay. Snowy Colorado, yep, I'm sure. Okay, let me know if you got any questions. I'm going to kind of dive into the purpose of this little podcasty video cast. It's this brand new album here. Got a nice little graphic on the front. I did the sketch. My good friend Sally Truitt filled it in with colors and evened out the picture a little bit. Kind of a combined effort there. And the back picture there, I love that shot. That's done by Alicia J. Rose, who's an amazing photographer based here in Portland. There's 10 tracks on it. Let me go through one by one and talk about them. I should probably open this. By the way, I should mention this early on. Anyone who throws me a tip or donation will get a free download, digital download of the new album. Let me make sure that I think I've got the PayPal. Yep, there it is. PayPal Venmo. Sorry, that's a little annoying to keep it up there. Keep it up for now. Any tips and donations for the show will net you a free digital copy of the album, as well as get you essentially a raffle ticket to get one of the tiles, which you can pick your own tile. It will be this one. That's the new banjo tile that I made. I call that the pandemic banjo. It's a banjo in a box. And this room here is that box. This is where I created this album, basically. Or you could pick one of the classic animal tiles. That will be the grand prize winner. Will get to pick a tile. So I'll let you know who I'll put everyone's name in a little bucket and pull out. Probably give it a couple days because folks can give a chance for folks in the UK and whatnot to check out the show. So, as I open it up, the first track on it is called Squirrelville. What can I tell you about Squirrelville? That was the first single from the album. When I first wrote it, I heard it as kind of as a jazz tune, like almost like a song called, a really famous song called Birdland, by was it Weather Report, I believe, and it had this really kind of fast pulse to it, and I wanted to do it like that. And so I fully went in with that intention. And the drummer, Aaron Johnston, who used to be in my band years ago, who's a killer drummer, I had him lay down that track where it had that pulse throughout. And then Todd Sycophus put down the bass to match that. And then I just sat there and tried to play this tune through it, and it was just wasn't the right vibe. So we tweaked it, and my good buddy Luke Price helped so much with this because he actually had a vision. He was like, I think you should have the drums do this. And so I let him work with Aaron Johnston. And together they really came up with an amazing drum part that works for the track. Because then all of a sudden there was this breathing room. It didn't have that incessant, it's like it opened up, gave room for me to do these other pieces. So the basic melody is this. Right? And so what I was hearing was like a dance beat or something. But if you listen to the track, you'll hear that it's opened up much more. And I also loved having this part that I came up with too, which was let's see. I wanted that to be a little more like dreamy, with some arpeggios going with some other instruments. I ended up doing kind of a ukulele part that had here. I think I've got the uke over here. See if I can emulate that. I was doing something like that, if you listen to the album, you'll hear this thing laying down that part, and then the drums kick in. So let me play a little bit of this tune solo style. What's up, Tara? How you doing? This makes you happy? Well, that's good. All the way over to Florida, huh? Oh, Wisconsin. Wow. Glad you could tune in. So this is that tune. This is Squirrelville, and Squirrelville is named after this house because we have a giant walnut tree over there that we are certain was planted by squirrels, because no one in their right mind would plant such a huge walnut tree right next to the foundation. So this is Squirrelville. So the other thing I was going to mention was we really kind of packed in some other parts in there. I ended up putting some slide guitar on it too because it kind of needed that vibe a little bit. And we also got our good buddy Dave Jorgensen to put down some horn parts because I really wanted to hear some horn pads, you know, lifting everything up. So anyway, that's Squirrelville. Let's move on to the next track. The album almost was going to be called Squirrelville, but it just, I think it wouldn't have translated. Oh, let me check here. Hey, Stephanie. Thank you. You love that song. Thank you. Smoking Jamgrass. Really dig the new album. Thank you very much. Okay. Let me know. Also, you know, throw me a request or two if you want to. Really focusing on this guy here, right there. We're going to go to track 2 now. It's going to be, track 2 is Icebound. Here's a funny little story about Icebound. So I wrote, this was one of the first tunes I wrote for the album. And I heard it as kind of an Irish meets old-timey, bluegrassy kind of thing. But I wanted to have like a little extra oomph to it, some kind of different thing going on underneath you wouldn't expect. And the guy that engineered the album is my old buddy who's also a former and sometimes co-producer of mine, Rob Stroop. And when I sent him my tracks, he said, okay, you need to come up with a name for this tune. All these tunes, when you send them to me, you got to come up with a name. I was like, I don't have a name for it. He's got to give me a name. I said, well, you name him. So he named it Steve. So it was called Steve for a while. There's a Rodney on the album too. I'll let you know what that one is. The original version of this I did with, it was just me and Johnny Connolly, an amazing button accordion player. He used to live in town. He's from Dublin. He played with Solas for a little while. I believe he's living in Colorado for the time being. But we just recorded it too slow. And then he was gone and we couldn't re-record it. So I ended up having Hans Araki play flute on it. Wonderful musician. Wonderful Irish and Japanese shakuhachi player. But he played some Irish flute on it. And who else played on it? Oh, Rob Stroop played a little bit of percussion, and I had my buddy Ty Burho play some tabla on it. We go way back to my Colorado days, and he's a former student of Zakir Hussain, so he was so good to put his part down. And then again, Todd Sikafus played bass, and we had Luke Price on fiddle. And then it needed something else. And I had never gotten to play with the great John Doyle, who's an amazing Irish guitarist and bouzouki player who is originally from Ireland but living in North Carolina now. And so I started sending him tracks, and he fixed the heck out of it. He put down some guitar and bouzouki and just lifted it up onto his shoulders. If you ever get a chance, go check him out. John Doyle, he's got some amazing music. Great singer, great player. Hope to actually do some live shows with him someday. So I'll play a little bit of Icebound. comes from, I can't remember, I was reading some book that just said Icebound, and I wrote it down in my journal, and I just thought it was very evocative. Let's look at the comments here. Hey, it looks like Chris Webb is in here posting for me. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. Let's go up here. Go back a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next. Thanks, Kim. She says I rock. Tim Lynch. Enjoy seeing and hearing for the first time in a long time. Hey, right on. Cool. Next song on the album is Greenheart. Oh, I'm going to do this on the cello banjo. This is the one that was called Rodney for a minute. Oh, you guys see the shirt? More banjo. Okay. So a while back, in order to get the juices flowing, I hadn't been writing banjo tunes for a long time. I just, I always had it percolating, it was always part of the show. But this is what I kept hearing from the crowd. More banjo! So I was like, I gotta make another banjo album. So the way I really got the juices flowing was a few years ago I decided to every day sit down with the banjo and just take like a half hour and come up with anything, but I was going to change keys every day. So I started with the key, one of the hardest keys on the banjo, A flat. I couldn't use any capo. I just started, messing around, and I still have all these recordings of me doing this, and there's still some tunes I want to explore, but that can be some of the most invigorating stuff to do, is to challenge yourself like that every day. So I would put it, I would settle myself in each key and just, float around in it a little bit and see what percolated. And every day I came out with something, whether it was just a few phrases or a whole tune. And then after I ran the course with the banjo, I started picking up the cello banjo, and I did a similar approach. And one of those days, I started coming up with this thing, just like this. It was real simple. And that sat with me for months. It was just so hard to follow it. I didn't know if I wanted to keep it like a hornpipe or maybe try something a little more classical sounding. I didn't know. So I actually have I have some broken pieces of tunes that were going to be for this that I want to go back and explore. But I ended up coming up with kind of a classically sounding thing that was this. It's almost like classic banjo sounding, which is, when I say classic banjo, I'm referring to banjo band music. It exists. There used to be banjo bands, whole bands, like mini orchestras with a bunch of banjos, and that's what this instrument was developed for. This is a cello banjo. There's even a bass banjo, which is huge. So it made sense to come up with kind of a classic sounding part. Then the third part, I kind of stole from myself a little bit. There's a tune I wrote years ago called Tyson's Dream, and it sounds a little bit Tyson's Dreamy, So this is the third part. This tune. I wonder how, I probably shouldn't do this, but let me see if I can remember Tyson's Dream. Yeah. That's the C part of Tyson's Dream, so you can see they're similar. Anyway, I will play Greenheart. Let me actually tell you that the players on this one, Luke Price again on fiddle, Carter McLean, who's a killer drummer. He used to tour with me years ago. He is the drummer for Lion King on Broadway now and has played with lots of folks over the years just because he's so good. The bass player again, Todd Sikafus. John Doyle played bouzouki and guitar and just really transformed the tune the way I needed it to be. I believe Rob Berger is playing accordion and organ, maybe? Something like that. So. Hey, Eddie Collins. How you doing? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Kenny, thanks for sharing the story of the process of writing these tunes. Yes, I'm glad a few of you guys are interested. And you're not just all banjo geeks, so that's good. Really love your style. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. Michael, always more banjo. Yes. More banjo. Yakina Valley Farm. Where is that? Where is that? Okay, so here's Greenheart. Let me try that again. The ending got me. So that's Greenheart. What is next? I think it's Tina and Pete. Yes, it is. Put that down. So if you're just joining in, we're talking about my new album. I'm going through the whole album and just talking about the tunes and playing the tunes from the album. Also, I will mention again, anyone who tips or donates tonight, you will get a free digital copy of the album. And also, for the next couple days, I'll be taking names of folks that chime in with tips and donations, and who I will draw a name from that group of folks, and you can pick a tile, and I'll send you a tile as a grand prize. How's that? Let me check on the comments here. Oh, I see. You are on the Yakina River. Oh, I see. In Nashville, Oregon. What? Cool. Yakina River in the Coast Range in Nashville, Oregon. I didn't know Oregon had a Nashville. Really? What's up, Ed? And then there is the duct tape. Yes, the duct tape is, it deadens the head because of the pickups I use. It helps to stop a certain resonance that can easily turn into feedback. Okay, so the next song is Tina and Pete. Or if you're Pete, you might call it Pete and Tina. Tina and Pete are two good friends that I go way back with. I played their wedding, 21 years ago? If you guys tune in, let me know. I think it was 21, 22 years ago maybe. The funny thing about this one, I had this tune, I started this tune a couple years back, and after I finished it, I heard it as kind of a up-tempo jazz waltz kind of thing. And that or a Russian folk song, I don't know. But I heard it as a up-tempo jazz waltz, and the players I envisioned, first of all, was Scott Amendola on the drums. Scott and I go back. We had a project we used to call the Furtado Amendola project, and the bass player in that was Todd Sikafus. So there was my rhythm section right there, Todd and Scott, and then I wanted to add Rob Berger on the accordion, just because I thought accordion would be so nice. And that's it. That's the bass. Oh, I added some slide guitar later. And the funny thing about that, and I wasn't thinking about this when I decided that band would be the band, and we hadn't played together like that for years and years and years. But that was the band I played with for Pete and Tina and Pete at their wedding. So it's like this weird cosmic thing going on there. So here is that tune. It's in the key of A minor, if you want to play along. is something like that. You know, I should mention that my intention with this album was to basically use the banjo as the voice, you know, and treat these tunes less as all-out jam sessions as than, well, more of, you know, lyrical pieces. And I feel like I wanted to have the banjo be an emotive instrument, which is not usually associated with, you know, because we all went through a lot, and we're still going through it the past couple of years. And this is my pandemic banjo album. And like I say, that is a pandemic banjo right there. In fact, if you want to see the studio that this was essentially recorded in, at least my parts, it's this little box of a room here. You can see, just a little teeny box. See, that's the gear I use right there. There's Stephanie's piano and drums. One of my guitars. Another one. That's it. That's the Squirrelville studio right there, folks. So, what's next? Let me see. Next song up. Moon Shoes. I've got a story about this, but let me check the comments first here. Cindy Lou. I sent a donation, but it went to TonyFurtado.com. Says pending on my PayPal end. Uh-oh. I don't know what to do about that, Cindy. I don't think... Hey, Chris, can you answer? Oh, yes, you did. Great. Okay. Yeah, we'll figure that out later. Okay, so Moon Shoes. This was, I think I wrote Moon Shoes shortly after I did that little experiment where I was playing different keys every day to come up with concepts. And this one I just wanted to be in the wonderful homey key of G, which banjo players love because the banjo is tuned in G. And I wanted it to be kind of a spindly, you know, viney tune. So let me play you a couple phrases from it. So that's the tune in the key of G. And when I was recording it, and I had what's called a click track, basically a metronome going on in the background. It reminded me of one of these French-Canadian guys that does this kind of vibe. You know, I can't do it, but they got their feet going while they're playing fiddle. It's like this beautiful Quebecois thing that's like, it's this rhythmic pulse, and I just heard that behind this whole tune. I wanted that to be the heartbeat. And it made sense because the title of the tune ended up being Moon Shoes. I was originally going to call it Moonvine, you know, because they're very viney flower things. And Luke Price, the ever-present awesome fiddle player in my music, said that it reminded him of a tune called Snowshoes. And he was like, you should call it Moon Shoes. And I was like, that's it. So, and then Tristan Claridge, who's an amazing cello player that Luke knew from a band called the Bee Eaters, said he knew of a really great footworks guy named Keith Murphy. And so I contacted Keith, and he ended up putting down the foot part first. So we had that foot part going, and then I put down my banjo part, and then I think Luke put down fiddle, and Tristan cello. And I just wanted to keep going. I wanted it to be this thing that would gradually build and build and build until this bridge that I wrote. And then in the bridge, I wanted to be kind of Sigur Rós-y. You guys familiar with Sigur Rós? Icelandic band. Gorgeous music. Very melodic and very epic. And ambient in a way. So that was the starting. And then Aaron Johnston, amazing drummer from a band called Brazilian Girls, among other bands. He played with my band about 20 years ago. So he put down some really great percussion. Again, Todd Sicafus from Ani DeFranco's band. He put down a bed of bass track, as well as this cool kind of Sigur Rós-y, bassy, weird thing that went great on the bridge. John Doyle again, on bouzouki and guitar. That was a much needed part. And oh yeah, Dave Jorgensen on some horn pads. Like he created this really great ambient pad that went in on the bridge. The bridge is this part. When I keep saying the bridge, it's this. I do that over and over. And then it gets a little more momentum. Let's see. And then I tortured myself by coming up with probably the hardest lick I've ever played on an album. Let's see if I can do it. Because I wanted it to get really like interwoven right there with my part and everyone else kind of looping their things in there. And crashing down to just the melody, and building up again. Once again, Hans Araki and they're playing flutes. So that's Moonshoes. I don't really have much to offer on it. I'll play it through one more time again so you can hear it. Once again, the ending. I don't know. Oh, there is a cool... Let's see. That's just for the banjo players that wanted to see how I did that. If there are banjo players out there that are interested in the tracks of this album being tabbed out, I'm working on that right now, hoping to release that book digitally in about, I don't know, a couple of weeks. I am working hard on it, trying to make sure and get all the notes I played. All right, next tune. Let me see who's out there. Hey, Tina Kelly, good to see you. That's Tina from Tina and Pete, by the way, folks. Hey, Mom, Merry Christmas. Back at you. Jeffrey Judkins, good to see you. What's up, Joey Scruggs? How you doing, buddy? Okay, so where are we at here? Moonshoes. Tiny Beast. You know what? I'm going to play you a little bit. See if this works. Tell me if this works. I've never done this before. I'm going to just play you guys a little bit of this track if I can find it. Tiny Beast started off as just kind of what I was thinking would be another kind of old-timey, grassy thing. And then Luke Price had some really cool ideas for it. And so I said, why don't you just co-produce this tune? Why don't you follow through with your ideas? Because he had ideas for the drums and all the other parts. And so we followed his vision on it. It came out really cool. It goes like this. Let's see. I can't remember it. It goes like this. Let's see. Let me go back to the beginning. Sorry. Can you hear that? Once again, Aaron Johnston playing the drums. And then it starts grooving. And it was brilliant. I mean, he had it in his head that it would be kind of groovy but not stick to one simple groove the whole way through. It would kind of move around a bit. And he even got a buddy of his to play some organ on it. And I just can't play it right now. This is one of those tunes I can't play yet. Anyway, we had a lot of fun creating that one. There was a little solo section in there, had a little fun with. But that's all I got to say about that one. So check it out. The full band version is so much better than anything I could do right now. Moving on to Decembering, the title track in the album. I'm going to do that on the cello banjo. When I was trying to figure out a good name for this album, this track made sense, you know? The title for it anyway, because to me the word Decembering means a pulling inward, you know, a bit of a introspection, you know, pooling of your own resources to get through a tricky time. I don't know what Decembering actually means, but that's what it means to me. So let's see if I can do this tune. It's a little bit tricky. really difficult to play. On the album, I had Hans Araki play flute on it, and Dave Jorgensen play harmonium. You guys ever seen a harmonium? You hear it a lot in Pakistani music. It's like a pump organ, but you pump it with your hand while you do it from out here, and you play it like that. It's such a gorgeous album. It's such a gorgeous instrument. It sounds like an accordion, basically. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Smokin' Jamgrass. And Naomi. Merry Christmas back at you. What's the next song here? I think we only got a few more left here. Nimrod Hornpipe. Nimrod Hornpipe. Interesting story with this one. It's actually a traditional fiddle tune, and I learned it when I was probably 19 or 20. I stole it from a contest fiddler. Not sure who taught it to me. It was probably either Linda Rolfe or I think it was Linda Rolfe, actually, or her brother John. And I just thought it was the funniest name for a tune, but then when they played me the tune, it's like, that is cool. So I worked it out, I put it in one of my old books, I never recorded it, and then a few years ago, Luke Price saw it in my book, and he was like, dude, you gotta play that live, I know it, because he's a contest fiddler. And it goes like this. And the B part is... So when I started playing it again, it reminded me of a type of music from Brazil called choro, or maybe even foro. There's another type that I'm not that familiar with, but it was choro, which is like these old instrumental tunes that I got hip to them from I think Barry Mitterhoff, mandolin player, wonderful mandolin player, and Mike Marshall. Amazing mandolin player. And so I just thought this tune would sound so good as a Brazilian, like with that approach, with the Brazilian rhythms going on, but also with some other instruments, you know, more from my bluegrassy world. I had the right name for a Brazilian tune, that's for sure. Furtado is apparently like Smith in Rio. So I first called Aaron Johnston, who is a master of Brazilian percussion. And so he laid down a bed of that stuff. And that got me super excited. Then I had Todd Sikafus put down his bass part. And we gradually added from there. I even came up with some little, I don't think I could do it on the uke right now, but like a little bridge that was a little bit, I guess ambient. You know, it just kind of gave room for someone else to play, and that someone else ended up being Mike Marshall, who is living in Germany at the right now. And so I contacted him to see if he would be on this tune. He produced my very first 2 albums, and he's just such an amazing musician, wonderful guy, very productive. He's written so many tunes and produced so many folks, and it was so nice and such an honor to have him play mandolin on this tune. And so he gets featured, as well as Rob Berger, and Luke Price is playing fiddle on it, and I couldn't have been happier. If you want to hear, let's see. Here's what it ended up, where it ended up going. That's Mike playing mandolin right there. can hear the cello banjo coming in right there too. I just thought it would add a nice oomph to the melody. Anyway, that's one of my favorite tracks. It's just got so much life to it. Beautiful banjo? Yes, I think it is a beautiful banjo made by Yarda Pruka, Pruka Banjo Company. Check them out. So that's Nimrod Hornpipe. Once again, I don't have much to play for that other than just to talk about it. Same with Wag the Dog. Wag the Dog is the next tune. Someone requested that, but I haven't got that in my fingers right now to really be able to present it very well. But it gave me a great opportunity to get my old friend Matt Flinner to play some mandolin on the album. And he did so great with that tune. And John Doyle once again on bouzouki and guitar, and Luke Price on fiddle. And then finally, I worked out this tune, this Beatles tune. The album needed some kind of capstone. It needed something, capstone, that's great. More like just a nice closer to kind of lift the spirit, you know, because of the times we're in. And I had worked this tune out for a student, probably 25 or more years ago. It was shortly after I had recorded I Will. And this one student asked for Here Comes the Sun. I was like, all right, I'll come up with a banjo version of that. And I wonder if I don't know if I can play it right now. Because I can't do it justice right now. But I worked it out, put it in the book, and then I had that version sitting around for a long time. So when it came time to record this, I put down the banjo part, put down the ukulele part, a little bit of slide guitar, and it made sense to me. And then I had Rob Berger put some accordion on there. It just felt good. I wish I could do it justice right now as a solo piece, but I haven't worked it out yet for that. But that's basically it. That's all the tracks on the album. Over the next coming months, I'll be working these tunes out more and more to play live. And feel free at live shows to request them, or these online shows, you know. I promise I will work them up better. Once again, we've been talking about this album, Decembering, and why it is, and what it is. If you would like a copy of it, the hard copy of it, as well as the tile, you can get that on my website. If you throw me a tip or donation, I will give you a free download, digital download, as well as add your name in for a raffle for one of the tiles. So that's that. Let me play you something that has nothing to do with the album now. I'll do it on the cello banjo. Debbie said, show us the album. Well, that's the tile. So I showed you guys. That's a beautiful banjo. Yes, to the last two. Oh, where'd that go? If you have time for requests after the album, Love a great water slide. All right, yeah, I'll do water slide. I'll do this tune, and then I'll do water slide, and we'll call it. How's that? My shell, don't waste your hammer on a broken bell. A broken bell, a broken bell, don't waste your hammer on a broken bell. Shadows rise when they hear the call. Shine the light and you watch them fall. You watch them fall with the coming day. Shine the light and they fade away. Well, I let you in, see inside. You will never change my mind. You will never change my mind. Cut your lives with a rusty tongue, and you built your house with the deed you done. The deed you done got a ringing sound. Deed you done gotta tear you down. When I let you in, see inside. You will never change my mind. You will never change my mind. Shiny skin, a shiny skin shimmering new, copper and tendering and true. Tolling those cracked my shell, don't waste your hammer on a broken bell. A broken bell, a broken bell, don't waste your hammer on a broken bell. When I let you in, see inside. You will never change my mind. You will never change my mind. I'll do one more song. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to me jabber on about this new album. If you want to actually get a hard copy of it or that tile, just go to TonyFurtado.com. It's over there. And if you would like to to get just a digital copy, just toss me any donation you feel like, any tip, and I will send you a code for that. Other than that, I got a few live shows starting to come in, so it's a little tricky right now actually getting really into the swing of things, as you may have noticed. There are some shows further into the year, like I've got a couple of festivals I'm pretty excited to go play, like the Sewanee Spring Reunion, I believe is definitely happening in March, and that's out in Florida, and there's going to be a few other southern gigs built around that. And the Four Corners Folk and Bluegrass Festival in early June, that's going to happen. So we'll probably do a few shows around that. And there's other things. There's a little California tour, hopefully going to happen in the middle of February or early February. Watch out, I'm going to be posting those dates really soon. A Eugene show coming up next Thursday, as long as it doesn't snow too hard. So anyway, someone requested Water Slide. Right? Water Slide? Any last comments here? Your dog don't know sit. I don't know the financial aspects, but it's easier to tip with YouTube super chat. I don't know anything about that. Sorry, man. I really wish I did. Yes, Sewanee. Yes. Good to see you, Kenny. All right, you like the stories? Hey, Kenny, I was in that restaurant recently that you said your grandmother is on the... I think it's called Prost here in Portland. I think you said there's a picture of your grandma on the wall. Is she the one taking a sip of a big giant beer? Hey, Chrissy. Stephanie and I will be doing another show January 13th, another Thursday Nights Live. We will be now announcing who the musical guests for that will be pretty soon. So, all right, here's Water Slide. Oh, almost. Thanks, you guys. It's been fun playing for you. Chit-chatting. I will sign out now, if I can figure it out.